if you're coming from a political history background, you'll be very familiar with a Hegelian expression. Africa has no history. Africa doesn't have history. What does it even mean? Africa doesn't have a history. I mean, this is a question I always throw to my students. What does it mean that Africa doesn't have history?
It doesn't have its past.
No, I think that it's
What does it mean?
colonized.
Yeah.
It belongs to other cultures.
It's controlled by
Why? But I mean, we have platoons of students coming from Africa. You don't have your past. You don't have your grandma. Your grandma doesn't have a grandma.
The form of the past is not considered a civilization.
What do you mean? What do you mean by considered as civilization?
I think there's this dichotomy division between like barbaric and civilized.
Right.
They're
Why do we need such a division?
Because the path is not universal, I guess. It only belongs to Africa, but it can now be applied to different other countries.
Close. Very close.
a civilization is consisted of like 4 parts, and Africa needs certain parts of it, so it's not
Do you come from a legal background?
yes.
That's a very normative explanation. I set a bar, I set a criteria. If you don't fit that criteria, you're not legal. Right? That's a norm. Don't laugh. In fact, pretty much all modern social scientists have applied or have been complying with that normative approach. That normative approach, in Wang Hui's lecture this morning, he used the term 抽象, abstract.
Yes.
So we come up with, how do you say abstract? He used the term abstract. To Marx has a very, very exciting terminology to describe that word. He used the word dead theory. It's dead. In comparison, there is a theory that is still alive. What is a dead theory? What does it mean by dead theory? What does it mean? Why a theory? How come a theory could be dead?
Well, if the theory can't explain the reality,
No. But good try.
It cannot. It has no proof.
It doesn't change. Fundamentally, Marx's argument revolves on one key phenomenon. The world is changing. The world is moving. Not only the world, it's a universal principle, right? This principle is universal. What does it mean? You are changing. Every single one of you is changing. The world, the physical world is changing. You use the word movement. Fundamentally, this is material dialecticism. Revolves on one crucial principle. The whole world. Doesn't matter if this is a physical world, or your mind, or your body, or the order of things. They're all moving. Once we start to recognize that the whole bloody world is moving, how on earth you will be able to explain the ever-changing world with a dead theory, i.e., a theory, a normative approach that understands the world as static. Right? Hey, civilization needs to meet the following criteria. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you don't meet that criteria, then you're not civilization. And I argue the other way. But this is not, Hegel is so smart, right? And his theory is so consistent. Of course, he's not one of that theorists that consider the world as dead. He's dialectical. So let's go back to Hegelian argument. Say that Africa doesn't have a history, but where does he come from? Africa doesn't have a history. Another crucial thing for theoretical discussion is that a theory needs to have a purpose. So we have another word. Teleological. How do you spell teleological? Teleology, right? Teleology. The moon. In Chinese, it's called moonilin. What's the point of your theory? My impression, the reason why IR, international relations, and arguably many of the social science discipline or subject areas are dead, largely because they don't have a purpose. Right? What's the point? I'm asking you, each one of you, what's the point of you sitting here? What's your purpose? What's the purpose of you studying whatever the subject that you're studying?
To learn something, acquire something.
To learn something. What do we learn? And then why do we have to learn? I sincerely and wholeheartedly agree. To change this bloody world. That's the whole point. And that, let's forget about Chairman Mao says the purpose of theory is to change this world. Let's forget about Chairman Xi says the purpose of understanding this world is to construct a new world. Let's forget about this. Let's talk about Hegel. Now, the only reason, the only logic behind Hegelian narrative of Africa doesn't have a history is because he has a purpose. What's the purpose of Hegel? To make everyone look alike. In this case, Europe. Hegelian's mark, when he talks about human history, a Hegelian's mark, the benchmark of Hegel, is that Europe represents the peak of human agency.